let's go ahead and get to another call. I'm going to take Bear, since I guess this was touching on Davis's call. He wants to say God does will evil to happen because it is part of his glory. Bear, how's it going?
Here we go.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. No, I do believe that although God does not will evil directly, I believe that he wills it indirectly and allows it to happen. And part of the reason that is, and I'm a new Christian, so I'm starting to understand the theology more, but I believe that we were all put here for the glory of God. And our main goal here is in God's creation for us to manifest his glory through us.
Okay, great.
For us to do that. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to ask a quick question. Could his glory be achieved in a world where he doesn't permit evil? We all just freely do good.
I believe that that's probably going to come in the new earth and the new heaven. Because
no, I'm saying when he created the universe, not later. I'm saying, could he have done that instead of? Right, he's gonna two worlds that God could actualize. Could he actualized this one with evil that you agree with? I'm asking, could he have created a world where he will get glory, but agents or humans just freely do good? They just always do the right thing.
I think he does. I think he is doing both. So I believe that this world is...
It can't be both. It's a contradiction. It's only one or the other. Right? Either he allows evil or he does not allow evil.
Well, he definitely allows evil.
Okay, great. Now I'm asking, is it possible for him to create the other type of world? Is that possible?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. So now what we've identified is God, he didn't create that world. He had prevailing reasons to create the other world, right? He had reasons. You can give me, I don't even care what the reason is. I'll just grant he has reasons, right? Some reason he thinks it benefits. Now I want to point out, if you're saying he allows evil and he thinks it should be done, would you agree in the scenario where pricking a child for the sake of not getting polio, all things considered, we wouldn't say pricking the child is a bad thing, right? We would say that's a good thing because of the outcome that it leads to, right? It leads to the greater good. Would we agree there?
Well, I think when we go and talk about the greater good, I think that's a way in philosophy that I don't like to go. But I believe that individually it promotes a good for that child. Yes.
Well, I'm just saying, look, if we have a child who's getting pricked, we wouldn't say that's a bad thing, given that the outcome is the greater good. Presumably God, in your view, allows evil for the greater good, right? Or does he just do it arbitrarily?
No, I believe he allows things, each of us individualistically. So God is a divider. He is not a uniter.
Okay.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in and take this a different.
Well, I just want to put the main point on this real quick is just that if you're saying God allows evil, then all we're saying is all things considered, there should be evil, right? It's required. You've already admitted he could have created the world without it, where there's no injustices, right? There's no Holocaust, no evil, no infants suffering, none of that. But he created the other world. I'm just pointing out to you that there's no evil in your worldview. Right. Because those things are required. That's a horrible view. That's all I wanted to express to you.
Let me ask you this, Bear.
Well, it's not that they're required; they're necessary. They're necessary.
Okay, all right. Let's go down. Let's go down your road. God does will evil to happen because it's part of His glory. Tell me how God is glorified when a young girl is raped and tortured by an abductor. Or even other examples I know of personally where a young woman is raped repeatedly by a family member. Tell me how that glorifies God.
That glorifies God through His judgment in the end.
How does it glorify God? Let's talk about the here and now, and how does that glorify God in that young woman's life? What about her?
She unfortunately is a victim, And you know, my
unfortunately,
Wow.
unfortunately, that goes back to what Mike was saying, in that this God of yours, and I know your theology, Bear. You said you're a new Christian. I was a Christian for 35, 36 years. I know the theology. It was created perfect in the beginning. Adam and Eve sinned. Evil came into the world because of the fall of man, blah, 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 and that's why we have evil in the world. The point Mike was trying to make is God could have created a world that was different, that didn't include the fall of man and free will and evil running rampant throughout the world. He was Milton fucking Bradley. He could have made the game any way he wanted, and he chose to do it this way. And your response, Bear, is unfortunately, it's too bad for the little girl. But God ultimately gets glory. Well, God can just go right to hell because that God is a moral monster. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because that girl suffered so that this God can get a little glory. What kind of father would you be to allow one of your kids to suffer, unfortunately, so that the rest of them would glorify you? You'd be a monster, Bear. A monster.
But for his view, it's required for the glory, right? The God has to have it for the glory, even though he admitted that he could create a world where God doesn't actually do that, right? Where we do freely behave. And before a theist or a Christian says we'd be acting robotically, well, ask yourself the same question of God. If he's all good and he's free, is he a robot? Apparently not, right? So there's no issue there. So it just seems like under your view, the best of all possible worlds is the world where there is some girl suffering because it glorifies God.
Unfortunately for her.
Yeah, unfortunately, which is an expression that he even agrees that there's something wrong with that. Do you see,
Bear, how twisted that is? Can you respond to the twisted nature of that? Please.
Well, I do believe that God has his own plan. And please let me finish.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we'll hear you out.
We may not understand the plan, you know, but I believe that's the God that we have. And eventually, that young girl will be vindicated. That young girl will be, in the next life, united with God, if she's worthy. To be
if she's
united
worthy.
With God.
Oh my God!
Yeah, this is. You know, I am going to cut you off real quick.
Dude, you are digging yourself such a hole.
This is so ridiculous. Like,
I hope you said you're a new Christian. I hope you're not too far in to go ahead and back out now.
Yeah, you've only put one foot in the door.
Because, dude, what you're attaching yourself to is just pure fucking evil.
Yeah, and
that this girl will be okay in the next life if she's worthy. If not, she just suffered because God couldn't figure out a different way to do the world. God, that's fucked up.
Yeah, and when you make this statement that like we can't know God's plan for this. Yes, the fuck we can. Look, if I need to go to the milk and I go, well, or go to the milk. I'm sorry. If I need to go to the store to get milk, right? And I go, okay, well, what reason do I like? What do I have, or like, what should I do to get the milk? It's like, well, I should walk to the store or drive to the store. God's like chilling. He goes, I need glory. What should I do? Oh, I should have a little girl suffer, right? What you're saying is to achieve the goal is this thing. Like something like me saying, someone like me just going, oh, I need to walk to the store because it's behind my house to get milk and I'm out of milk. And that's the reason. God's like, oh, well, how do I get glory? Oh, I make people suffer. But under your view, you've already admitted there's a logically possible world where God doesn't have to do that. And under your view, his glory wouldn't be achieved. His glory wouldn't be achieved if there's not victims in it. That's your view. If you want, I mean, you have to help us out here, bud.
My view is that we're in God's game here. And this is God's game.
Yeah.
And we're here in this.
Yep, and you're in my game now, and you can call back next week because this is ridiculous. We pretty much exposed everything that's wrong with your view.
Everything that's wrong with Christianity in one 9-minute call right there, folks. Everything that's wrong with the God of the Bible and this version of Christianity is just pure fucking evil. People have to suffer, unfortunately, because God needs to be glorified. Oh my God, that pissed me off. I'm sorry. I'm losing my shit here today.
No, Dave, I appreciate when you came in with that point. It just hammered everything home, made it very clear. So I really appreciate that, because we didn't have to spend all that much time. We got the ridiculous view out of the way and put it up on to dry out. And people, you take what you will with that. If you're sitting on the fence,
I hope he reconsiders this new faith of his. My God.